Hello and welcome to my EasyWebinar review, and what I'm going to be doing in this video is pretty much giving you a walkthrough demo of the features when it comes to creating a live webinar with EasyWebinar, and of course how you can do that with the automated version as well, which is overall pretty easy. First and foremost, depending on where you're watching this, if you're watching this on my website or YouTube, just simply look down below this video. There should be a link. If you click that, you'll actually get taken to the homepage where you can get a free trial to EasyWebinar. The cool thing about it is that you can actually follow along with me, so whether you want to watch the video and then sign up after or do it simultaneously, it's going to be completely up to you. So with that being said, let's get started, and what I want to do is first start with a live event. I'm going to show you the process for how you can actually create it and get started, just so you can see the features, the perks, the benefits, and so on and so forth. Plus, when you get started, this will pretty much be a walkthrough for you, so you'll know exactly what to do. Let's click on create a live event. I'm just going to call this Isolated Marketing Nights Webinar, and then create and schedule. Okay, and then from here we have a lot of different tabs that we can customize. The cool thing about EasyWebinar is that it is pretty easy when it comes to, going through the steps to create any type of webinar. They also have a lot of different tabs that I'm going to be going through and talking about. Plus, for each of them, they have a watch tutorial section, so it's very helpful. Despite the fact it might be a little intimidating that there's a lot of tabs and customizations, there will be plenty of tutorials to help you out. So when it comes to this, we're going to be looking at the event type, which is going to be live, the name which we gave it, of course, when we want to, where it's going to be. For this would probably be Eastern, but I'm just going to click on, is Eastern here? Where is it? Easter Island, Eastern, sure. It's going to be either a one-time event or a recurring event, okay? So you can select the date for it, whether it's going to be recurring. If you're going to do an automated webinar, you're probably going to want to do recurring event. Of course, the start time, the end time, and you can add many times as well. And on the bottom, we have advanced settings where if you want to change a few things like split date and time, enable instant replay, event language, and so on and so forth, you can do that. Okay, let's move back up. Now, there's going to be something else. When it comes to the event info, there is the template funnel library. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons when it comes to EasyWebinar. The good thing is that the pros really outweigh the cons, which I will talk more about at the end. And one thing that they could have done a little bit better is going to be their template funnel library. Given the fact that there's only about 4 to choose from and one is going to be able to customize, I feel they could have added a little bit more. It's not going to make or break your webinars, but it would just be very helpful. Let's move to the registration page tab now. Okay, and as you can see, there's going to be a lot to edit. First and foremost, they have the headline, the subheadline, the main display, which can be an image or a video. Then, of course, there's going to be the event description, advanced settings. There's pretty much going to be advanced settings in a lot of these different sections, which is good. While advanced can be kind of intimidating as well, keep in mind that it's not bad considering the fact that you don't always need to use it. Next is going to be theme customization. So aside from already having your theme, there's going to be the button and the colors that you can edit. Not a whole lot going on here. Obviously, this is just going to make your theme a little bit better in terms of how it looks. After that, you have your presenter information, which is pretty straightforward. Do you want a picture, name, GDPR settings? Yes, you can enable that. And of course, custom fields is going to be stuff like phone number and so on and so forth if you want to add those things. Once again, keep in mind that they do have a watch tutorial section, so with all of these different sections, you can get more help if needed. Let's move on to the thank you page now. Okay, so here we go, thank you page. Not a whole lot to edit, so this part is pretty simple. Social shares obviously is going to be able where people can add shares for, say, Facebook or whatever it's going to be to help get more people interested in it. Theme customization, and of course, when you have the main thank you page, you have your headline, your subheadline, your image or video, once again, as we talked about previously, and of course, the description. This isn't the most in-depth, I guess you could say, customization when it comes to a thank you page, but it's also not that bad. Let's move to the event page now, because that's actually a very big thing when it comes to your webinars. This is the webinar page itself. Okay, so once again, we have the event page content settings, we have offers, polls, chat settings, and theme customization. Once again, you have your headline and subheadline, and description, which you're going to be seeing a lot. You also have the ability to do redirects. For example, you can redirect immediately after the event for attendees. So depending on if you're offering an offer, if you want people, instead of just sitting there, you can forward them to the offer on the checkout page if you want. You also have redirect your registrants when they click their webinar invite link after a webinar has expired. Of course, you have show attendees on event page. So if it's live, like this one is, you can show that there's going to be 5 people there or 10 people, or maybe you just want to hide that. Maybe you're just getting started and you don't want to see that there's only 2 people on the webinar, including you. That's going to be completely up to you. Okay. Aside from that, we do have our offers, polls, chat settings, theme customization. Offers is pretty much going to be, everything you have seen before. So when you enable offers, you can actually have multiple. You can do the add new offer, or you can remove. You can give it a title. You can offer the content. You can choose the button, as you can see right here, add to cart, sign up, buy now, get access now, download, and so on and so forth. You've even got a countdown for it, and of course, offer tagging if you want to integrate with some of these, which we'll talk a little bit more about when it comes to the integrations later. Okay. The rest of the aspects are going to be pretty standard. If you want to add polls and of course chat settings, you can make chat private if you want, or you can make it public. And there's multiple options to utilize chat. For example, if you want to utilize what EasyWebinar has to offer, you can even utilize like a Facebook chat if you want. But enough about that. Let's go to the replay page now. So once again, the replay page is pretty simple. Whether you want to have it on or off is going to be up to you. You can just click on or off when it comes to the tag here. The replay page expiration settings, maybe you want it to be evergreen, where it's always going to be around. Maybe you don't want it to be around forever, which is going to be a specific date. Then of course you have the replay page content settings, where you have the main event replica, or you can build a custom replay page. Well, that's obviously going to be much more customizations for you. Okay, let's move on to the next section. So what I like about this is that they really do a lot when it comes to the event notifications. First and foremost, you have the before event section. Obviously, you have your email name, email address, notify someone when they register for an event. You got your welcome email, obviously down here, and the before event notification. But what I really love about this section is going to be the after event tab, which you can see right here. Let's turn this on. And as you can see, you can have as many notifications as you want. I'm going to click on this. While you can't see it, it added a new one. Added another one, added another one. Now, I don't know what the limit is on this. Obviously, you don't want to send too many, otherwise your registrants are just going to get really annoyed. But usually when it comes to webinar software, they'll have one where you can send like right when they sign up, maybe an hour before, and maybe like 5 minutes before, and maybe like right when it's starting. When it comes to this, you can add as many as you want from what I know. Okay, this is going to say number 2. Like I said, I don't know if you put 50 in there, you probably wouldn't want to use 50, but then again, it's great that it's really customizable in terms of how many you want to add. And of course, if you have too many, you can just start removing them, going back up. When it comes to editing it, it's going to be pretty simple. As you can see, let me scroll down here. They do have some templates for it. Not the craziest thing in the world, but at least they do have a few that you can utilize. For me personally, I love using blank templates. They're always the easiest ones with less pictures, so that there's less chances of it hitting the sin bin. In other words, the spam box. Okay, and once again, you can select the day, the hours, and the minutes when it's going to be sent to them, along with the follow-up. And of course, this is where you're going to edit your message, and that's how you can send out your notifications. Like I said, I really like that you can actually send multiples of them. Okay. And last but not least, I kind of wanted to cover the integrations along with the advanced options. Event integrations is pretty much going to be which autoresponder do you want to cover. They have all of the major ones. There's also the ability to connect with other ones depending on what you're going to be using. The advanced options is going to be exactly that, advanced options. As you can see from the tabs here, you have countdown page settings, third-party scripts, SEO settings, rename page URLs, and social meta tag settings. The cool thing about this is that given the fact that they are advanced, you might not need to use them. They are there in case you want a little extra benefits. For example, headlines about if they're a bit too early, about waiting for the webinar to start, and third-party scripts. Obviously, that's going to be more customization. But all in all, simply walking through the steps, they do make it very easy when it comes to setting up any type of webinar, whether it's going to be live or automated. And what I really like about this, you just saw the process when it comes to creating a live webinar. You would just get your link and you can go live when it comes to using either EasyWebinar. You can actually go live when it comes to using YouTube Live as well, which is pretty cool. So you have multiple options when it comes to doing that. What I was talking about before, I really like that actually creating a live webinar is going to be identical to creating an automated webinar. In fact, there's not going to be much different aside from the fact that you're going to want to change your times because it's automated. And of course, you need to upload your video. So let me show you that really quickly as well. So now that we are back home, I'm just going to click on create an automated event. Let's do nights, auto, Webby, just giving it a title, create and schedule. Okay, and so as you can see, this is going to be the identical setup. The only difference is that we are now an automated event, as you can see right here. So what we're going to want to do is click on recurring event, and then from here, what you would do is simply change your frequency. It can be every day, specific dates, or selected days in the week. Plus, you can add multiple times. Obviously, you can remove them as well. So if you want every day, you can do that. If you want every day at 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., whatever it's going to be, it's very flexible when it comes to choosing the times, which is good because you're always going to want to check different times just to see which one's going to convert the best, and so on and so forth. Almost everything is going to be identical, except now you're going to want to focus on the event page because you actually need a video given the fact that it's an automated webinar. So when it comes to this, as you can see, same thing here, but if you scroll down a little right here, okay, this is going to be different for the event video settings. Now you can add video URL, you can select from previous session, or you can either just event page video URL, where if you go over this, it does work with Vimeo, it does work with YouTube, Wistia, or Amazon S3. So those are a few of the integrations when it comes to kind of utilizing your own video. As long as you have the URL for it, you can actually use it here. Then you're just going to want to match this for the video length when it comes to hours, minutes, and seconds. And those are some of the biggest differences when it comes to creating an automated or a live webinar. Right? There's not a whole lot different, and that's great for you because once you figure out how to create one type of webinar, you're going to know how to create the other type of webinar. The last thing you want to see is a software where it's like completely different to do one, and then you got to learn all these new steps when it comes to creating a different type of webinar. EasyWebinar doesn't do that. Probably why they're considered EasyWebinar. The process for creating it is very easy. You walk through all the tabs here, you go through them, and of course, if you need help, you have the watch tutorials. So that in a nutshell is what it's going to be like when it comes to creating a webinar, regardless of if it's live or automated with EasyWebinar. So let's kind of wrap things up so I can give you my thoughts when it comes to this webinar software. So now that we're back to the homepage, what I do like about this is that it does live up to the name when it comes to EasyWebinar. Some of the pros include that it is very easy to kind of walk through and create a webinar. The first time that I ended up trying this out, I was able to do it without utilizing any type of tutorials. It's great that it has a nice interface that goes along with the ability to create easy webinars. I like the fact that you can edit a lot of the email notifications. As I talked about, you can use as many as you want. Don't go too crazy on those, but the flexibility when it comes to that is really great. And plus, as I talked about before, the setup for creating both live and automated webinars is pretty much identical. There's only going to be a few things different in terms of the automated when it comes to the time that it's going to keep recurring at, and of course adding your own video. So those are a lot of the pros when it comes to EasyWebinar. The good thing about this software is that there's not too many cons in terms of nitpicking. It could definitely use a few more registration templates like I talked about. I think there's 4 in total. 3 you can choose from, and 1 is going to be just pretty much customize it however you want. It would be great to have more templates. As someone who gets to use and review and demo a lot of software, I personally love templates, especially when it comes to any type of landing page, because what I'll usually do is create one, and then I'll just duplicate it anytime I go to make a new landing page and then just change it around. It's going to make your life much easier and will allow you to get up and running much quicker. So that's just one minor nitpick. Another minor little nitpick is that there's so many customizations in here. It might make your head spin a little, okay? So it's not the worst thing in the world. It's kind of like nitpicking the fact that they have a lot to choose from. Now, there might be a little learning curve to that, but I don't see it as the biggest problem in the world. Because, I mean, if you think about it, I'm really nitpicking the fact that there's a lot to customize. So that's not the worst thing. All in all, I do like what this software has to offer, simply for the fact of being able to create and get your webinars up and running, especially for the fact that they are priced right and they offer both of the live and automated webinars. That's something to like, especially if you're looking to start running webinars, or if you're looking to obviously, maybe add more attendees and go from there. So is EasyWebinar worth it? I absolutely do believe it is, especially if you have any type of interest in it. Like I said, it comes with a free trial, so you can at least try them out just to see how much you like them. You can walk through actually this review. You can go back just to see how you can actually set things up. And last but not least, once again, I will put a link down below. Feel free to click that. You'll get a free trial to EasyWebinar, and you can actually run through and do exactly what I did just to get your live or automated webinar running as quickly as possible. So that's about it. I want to say thank you for watching this EasyWebinar review. I hope that it helps you when it comes to making a choice. Whether you want to use it or not, that's going to be up to you, but at least I can show you how it was done through this demo video. Once again, the link's down below. Thank you for watching, and happy webinar marketing.